Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Neptorka here. We're back for another Fire Emblem Heroes reaction video. We finally have our brave heroes. Um, I'm not too excited about these heroes this time around. I feel like Bernadetta got robbed again. I feel kind of bad for her. She's been trying for several years now, and she just keeps getting, poked out at the very end. And I don't think I have much hope for her getting in next year when you have to deal with units like Unaka. Gulveg kind of upset me because, a lot of, let's be real, a lot of people saw big titties and then they they went right for her. So, that's kind of irritating, but let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got this year, and hopefully we got some really interesting ones. I finally have some orbs to, spend. Let's see if I want to spend them. Let's get going. Hopefully we get some different unit types. Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, it looks so good. Oh no, why armored? Oh. Okay. Okay. Armored is my least favorite type, so that's why I don't like it. She's got an interesting icon in the corner, though. God, the art looks so good, though. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Fancy clothing won't disguise
Oh my gosh. Of all the things they could have done with him, they just gave him another green tone. Why? That's disappointing. It's like CYL 4, was it? With Edelgard and the others? They just gave the same stuff. That was kind of annoying. Okay, here's Gulveg.
I am the Golden Seer. My purpose is to bring ruin.
Okay. We got a lot of like double pages on these. Oh, she just took 7 damage right off the bat.
Fade away.
Man, I'm still salty that Corrin is an armored unit. What? Okay.
I've come this far thanks to not only my successes, but also my setbacks.
Hey, it looks pretty good. I haven't done Awakening, so that's kind of cool looking. Man. Wait. Oh, okay, never mind. One of them is a new tier 4 skill. God, Corrin's art looks so good. I'm just so disappointed that it's... Oh, they're putting in Cyril into the game. I wonder what he's going to be. Red Bow Archer. I don't think they would make him a Grand Hero battle. Do they do that? I feel like he'll be a freebie unit. I don't like Cyril very much, I'll be honest. It's just not my... Probably my least favorite character in all of Three Houses. So... we have a batch. Let's just put it in that. Man, I'm still irritated about Gulveg. Still really salty about that. Picking a unit that it's not like Veronica where we really wanted her as a unit and she never appeared. this one is just, like I said, people saw her with like ooh, big titties and wanted her right. It's just, ugh. All right. Let's go to the beginning and let's take a look at these. These kits are huge. So let's see what they have. God, I love this art so much. It's so good. I just wish she wasn't armored.
I am certain now that the path I chose
Oh, that's so
was correct.
frustrating. Okay, hang on. I actually need to go back a second.
That the path I chose was correct. The path I chose was correct.
Okay. I'm good. All right. Here we go. Now, she was, I think, the second place finisher. Okay. I don't think that matters anymore, but I just want to point that out. Okay, we have Volus Stone. Accelerate special trigger. After unit acts. After unit acts, if Kanto triggers after Kanto, applies Divine Vein Stone to unit space and spaces within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. So that's like a super diamond, I guess. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, inflicts Spectrum 5 on foe. Neutralizes effects that guarantee foes follow-up attacks during combat and effects that prevent units follow-up attacks, and reduces damage from attacks by 30% during combat. Okay. Divine Vein Stone applies the following effects on space. Man, there's a lot of different wording in here that's going to be difficult. Applies the following effects on space for unit and allies. Grants defense res 6 during combat. Reduces damage from foe specials by 10 during combat, excluding area of effect specials. And reduces damage from area of effect specials by 50%, excluding Rooker area of effect specials. Divine Feign effects do not stack. Replaces any existing Divine Feign effect. Divine Feign effects applied simultaneously cancel each other out. Does not count as defensive terrain. Boy, that's a lot to unlock. And I don't even know if I can unlock it. Excuse me. Man, that was a lot. Okay. If Kanto triggers after Kanto, can this unit have Kanto? We'll get to that. Okay. Realms United. So she has Armored Flow. Realms United. Unit can counterattack regardless of foe's range. If foe initiates combat or foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75% at start of combat, inflicts Spectrum 7 on foe and reduces damage from foe's first attack by 7 during combat. From foe's first attack by 7. For standard attacks, first attack means only the first strike, or effects that grant unit attacks twice, it means the first and second strikes. Okay. Okay. Let's move on. We have Counter Roar 4. Inflicts attack speed -4 on foe. Reduces damage from foe's first attack during combat by 30%. And unit's next attack deals damage equal to 30% of foe's attack damage prior to reductions. Prior to reductions, that's pretty cool. And then restores 7 HP to unit after combat. Okay. The Kanto thing in here kind of makes me wonder. But I think that's just for extra abilities that give Kanto one.
Reclaim what is ours. This is my path.
I don't understand the Volostone thing. It really confuses me. Let's look at this again, because...
I am certain now that the path I chose was correct.
Oh my goodness. I see it now. I don't know why I didn't see the massive diamond before, but I do now. How did I not see the massive diamond before? Of rocks. Oh my goodness. So she is... let me look at it again now that I've seen... Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. And that's really, really busted for a support unit. That's really good. Holy crap, that's good. Wow. How's that for a support? Dang.
Now that the path I chose was correct.
So she basically creates her own defensive tile structure. And this is wherever she acts. I'm trying to think for a second if like it would be applied. So it essentially, if you wanted to do this like in Aether raids, you could theoretically, if you do it on the very first turn, kill a unit before this thing attaches itself. But then once it attaches itself, you're not getting out of it. Man, flat special damage reduction, defense and res +6. Okay, and it does not count as defensive terrain, so that means that essentially you can have defensive terrain and Divine Vein Stone on top of one another. Wow. That's pretty awesome. First unit, it's awesome.
Reclaim what is ours. This is my path.
Oh, that's an awesome skill animation. I'm so happy with that unit. I just wish she wasn't armored. That's the biggest disappointment.
Fancy clothing won't disguise a lack of substance.
And this is super disappointing. You know, this is like Marth getting to be a red sword when he came out. Okay, let's take a look at this. We have Arc Sage Tome. Accelerate special trigger. At start of turn, grants Spectrum 6 and Assign Decoy to any support partner within 2 spaces of unit. Or if unit is not on a team with a unit's support partner, to ally with the highest defense within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. Okay, so they always have to be within 2 spaces for assigned decoy to work. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants bonus to units attack, speed, defense, res during combat equal to 5 plus the highest bonus on each stat between allies within 3 spaces of unit. And if unit's res is greater than foe's res, reduces damage from attacks during combat and area of effect specials by percentage equal to the difference of stats times 4. Okay. Assign decoy if foe's range equal unit's range. And foe initiates combat against ally within 2 spaces of unit, triggers savior on unit. Okay. So it's like a infantry savior skill. But you have to be within 2 spaces of unit. Okay. Then we have flare, which by the way looks awesome. It really does look cool. If unit's HP is greater than or equal to 70% when special triggers, boosts damage by 60% of foe's res. Okay, yeah, that's like tank busting. If unit's HP is less than 70% when special triggers, boosts damage by 40% of foe's res and restores 30% of unit's maximum HP. Okay, I like it. Then we have his perf. Rare talent. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants Spectrum 7 to unit and disables foe's effects that calculate damage using foe's defense or res. Oh man, this makes, this just makes a unit really surprisingly tanky. When I think of Light and Dark with Julia, she just, dragon can't do anything against her because of it. During combat, and also if the following effects will occur based on the value of the unit's res minus the foe's res. If greater than or equal to 1, neutralizes effects that inflict special cooldown charge minus X on unit during combat, and if greater than or equal to 10, and either foe's range equal to or unit initiates combat, unit attacks twice during combat. Okay. Hey, that's pretty cool. And then I think we had magical null follow-up, which is nice. Okay. Sorry, I was rereading magical null follow-up again because we've, I think, only had it once before. And then he's pretty much always got flare. Let me just double check and look at this before we look at the animation again. Okay. I don't know about this one.
Just give up.
It's really interesting movement, but I'm worried about... Let me see this again real quick. Because I want to double check again.
Fancy clothing won't disguise a lack of substance.
Oh, they didn't even show any movement, did they? Well, that's irritating. Show us some movement so we know how it functions. So this guy is gonna have, like Soren's gonna have ridiculous res stat. It, Let me look at this again. Assign decoy. If foes range equal units range, and foe initiates combat against ally within 2 spaces of unit, triggers saver. So, very clever. They put it in the A slot, so you can't put like a close counter. I mean, you could, but then you have to lose out on his talent. You know, I think for a lot of people, it'll depend on how high his res stat is, and it will depend on how good his res stat is. I'm reading the skill again. Yeah, it'll depend on how good his res stat is, basically. Because it can be very good. Highest defense within 2 spaces. I feel like you don't want to have him support partner with someone for a lot of times. Because he can just go around and protect, you know, someone with really low res. But, like I said, it really depends on his res stat. If his res stat can't outdo some of the other insanely high res stats out there, like we just got Citrine, and Citrine can get some really high res stats. I've been surprised with Citrine how high she can get her res stats. And even the most recent Ivy is the same way. The Summer Ivy. So we'll have to see, I think. I think so far, though, I think Corrin's better. That's such a cool animation. Every time I see this.
The Golden Seer. My purpose is to bring ruin.
We would have gotten her eventually. Alright, the Cycle's turn. Enables Canto 1. That's already, like, huge thing for me. I love having Canto 1 on a unit. Accelerate special trigger. If unit initiates combat or bonus is active on unit, grants Spectrum 5 to unit, grants attack speed plus X to unit, X equal the number of turns times 2, max 10. So the further on in combat we go, the stronger she gets. Deals damage equal to 20% of unit speed, including when dealing damage with a special trigger before combat, and neutralizes effects that guarantee foes follow-up attacks and effects that prevent units follow-up attacks during combat. Okay. Flared Sparrow. Do we really need that? And isn't that icon the same as something else? I could be wrong, but alright. If a unit initiates combat, deals 7 damage to foe as combat begins. That's actually pretty cool. Because there's some units that require you to be, you know, at max health. But I think a lot of them have been... most of the units in that case have a stipulation that they either need to be, like, the foe needs to attack or they need to be at 100%. So I don't think it'll really affect much. Effects that reduce damage during combat do not apply. Will not reduce foe's HP below 1. Grants attack speed 70 unit during combat and applies Divine Vein Flame on 5 spaces in a line centered on foe's space. Centered on foe's space, oriented from left to right based on the direction the unit is facing for 1 turn after combat. That's really confusing. I'll need to watch it later. Divine Flame applies the following effects to space. Acts as a difficult terrain for foes with range. equal 2. So it acts as like a forest tile. At start of enemy phase, deals 7 damage to foe. And also, as combat begins, deals an additional 7 damage to foe. So this is actually... Oh, okay. I did not notice this at the beginning. So Divine Vein Stone, and this is Divine Vein Flame. Okay. Except for this one's in the A slot. I don't know how I think about this. I'd rather, honestly, I'd rather fodder this off to a different unit. Considering what I've seen, but, you know, I need to see her special and so forth. Deals an additional 7 damage to foe if you land on it, and then the divine vein effects do not stack. I'm surprised that they put one of these divine vein things on a on just a regular skill. Okay, then we have Gold Unwinding. Inflicts speed res -5 on foe during combat. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 50% and unit initiates combat, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 60% during combat. If unit initiates combat, grants another action to unit after combat. Oh my gosh. And inflicts gravity on unit and pair-up cohort. Through their next action. Okay, so it's like, it's essentially Legendary Leaf Snow Run Zeal. So you can, it's ranged Gale Force. Okay. Let's see how it looks after combat. I hate hell.
Fade away.
This is like 2 units like I just can't stand now. Man, I was really excited for Gulaveg because she's kind of built up over the time, and now I'm kind of, I don't know, disappointed, so to say. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Anyways, 65, 53, 27, 19. She's getting +6, I think, to both of her stats from attack speed oath, and she was the first unit. Man, I think she might have gotten the raw deal out of these so far. I mean, this flame thing is pretty cool. Which direction was the unit? Did they show her entering combat?
My purpose is to bring ruin.
No, they didn't. I feel like the coolest part of her kit is the flared sparrow. Yeah. It's got to be the flared sparrow that I think is the coolest part of her kit. So she... Okay, so I think hell was right here. Yeah? Let me just read the skill again real quick. Okay, yeah. And it only costs, and it only affects difficult, it's only a difficult terrain for range 2 units. Cannot move cost cannot exceed the unit's allowed movement. Cannot be slowed by terrain effects. Do not apply. Yeah, there's so much complicated wording in all of these abilities. Moving over the space costs +1 movement. Movement cost cannot exceed units allowed movement. Movement cost cannot exceed units allowed movement. Okay, so Gulaveg can only move 2 spaces. So you can't make, I think, their movement, you can't, like, it can't be worse than Gulaveg's movement, okay? Cannot be slowed by terrain. Effects do not apply. Okay, so I could be wrong, but I think that means that the units that came out at the beginning of this year, January, don't really have an effect on, like, you can't use it to bypass this. And fire lights up. The thing is like, they don't show it on this, but essentially all of all of these people can just, they can run, like, this doesn't save, Gulaveg doesn't save Hinoka from being hit by Sothis. It does prevent Crom from hitting Hinoka, but it doesn't, yeah. Let me just double check real quick. I'm sorry this is taking so long for a video. It's just because there's so much to go through. Okay. There was something else, I think, in her weapon that... Okay, no. Alright. I gotta say, I'm kind of disappointed by this unit.
Fade away.
Like, maybe I'm missing something, but I feel like this vein isn't that great. This is cool. Have we ever had a sword Crom?
Not only my successes, but also my setbacks.
He's got a little bit of small head syndrome, kind of like, he's got a little bit of small head syndrome, kind of, like, Sigurd on the most recent, Tea Time banner. Sigurd also had thick legs, and, it didn't fit him very well. So, anyways, all right, let's take a look at this. Delivers brand. Grants speed +3 at start of combat if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%. Grants Spectrum 5 to unit. Reduces damage from foes first attack by 40%. Neutralizes effects that grant special cooldown charge +X to foe or inflict special cooldown charge -X on unit during combat. And also, if unit's max special cooldown count value is greater than or equal to 3 and unit's attack can trigger unit special. When unit special triggers, excluding area of effects specials, neutralizes reduces damage by X% effects from non-special skills. If unit's max special cooldown count value is greater than or equal to 3. Okay, so Ignis, Bonfire, anything like that. And unit attack can trigger unit special. When unit special triggers, it reduces neutralizes, reduces damage by X effects from non-special skills. Okay, got it. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, and unit triggers the glowing glowing ember, bonfire, or ignis special during combat, calculates that attack's damage using lower of foe's defense or res. I totally forgot about glowing ember. Okay. He's got ignis, attack speed, finish. Did Robin finish first or second? He finished first. Attack speed, finish. So he's got Gambit 4, which I think is just completely new altogether. Inflicts speed defense -4 on foe during combat. And also, if units or foes attack can trigger units special. Deals damage during combat equal to unit's max special cooldown count -2 times 5. So you technically, let's say it's Ignis as it is now, it would be 10. Okay. Excluding area of effect special, and reduces damage from attacks during combat and area of effect specials by percentage of units max special cooldown count times 10. Max 50%. Okay. Alright. And then we have tip the scales. At start of turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants rally spectrum to unit and allies within 2 spaces of unit. Unit can move to a space adjacent to an ally with rally spectrum that is within 5 spaces of unit. If unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants spectrum 3 to unit during combat. Rally spectrum grants spectrum 5 to unit during combat, and if unit's attack can trigger the unit special, grants special cooldown count -X to unit before unit's first attack during combat. If X equals 1, X equals 1 if unit can trigger the unit attacks twice effect. Or if unit's maximum special cooldown count is reduced. Otherwise, X equals 2. Okay. I'm trying to... It's just like the last... I can't remember which one it is. It's like you gotta unpack everything. I feel like this is like a Catria ball type of thing, but they've kind of, you know, they've put some wording in there to make it so that you can't just go in and do the insane offensive abilities that you would normally do with a Catria ball. Unit, okay. Let's take a look at this in action.
A flawless strategy.
Whoops. I wanted to see him. Okay. Well, this is already... Okay, never mind. For a second, I was like, this is already incorrect because he was +5. Okay. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but this makes Crom Gale Force strategies like... someone, I can't remember who it was. It's probably Phaology was like, yeah, Crom Gale Force strategies are kind of, you know, on the way out. Well, surprise! They're back! Because being able to, you know, flip up a unit and then go really far, you're gonna basically have you're gonna have them in range to be able to do it again. So this is kind of cool. This is very unique. And I think he's just gonna do a lot of damage because of his weapon.
A flawless strategy.
Yeah. And then we have Cyril. And then they should show us that we get like 1,000,000 4 times. Okay. I'm gonna be honest. Now, part of this is some personal bias because I think the artwork looks amazing. But I think Corrin's the best unit here. The support she brings is pretty amazing. However, Robin is a close second. I think he looks really solid. Soren and Gulaveg, I'm not seeing it. Soren will have niche uses. Kind of reminds me of Gatekeeper. Gulaveg, though, I feel like you just throw that ability on another character that would be better suited for it. Like, I don't know, just to give you an idea, can you imagine, just to give you an idea, can you imagine throwing that on New Year's Regan? That ability, her flame, flared sparrow. Mind you, you know, there may be inheritance restrictions, but, I think that would be pretty sick. And her stats are kind of disappointing. What were her stats here? I think we saw them. Where are they? And she's looking at 59 attack and 47 speed. And only 19 res as a flying mage unit. I'm really not impressed with this unit. Well, we'll have to see. You know, maybe it's once again, it's my bias coming through, but I really think that you know, especially when you compare it to something like the most recent Lysithea that we got that freaking obliterates a unit out of existence because of her perf skill. You know, I feel like that Lysithea is way stronger than this one. And I could just give her this A special. The B skill is essentially just no run zeal, in my opinion. Let me double check. Make sure I'm not missing too much. Yeah, it essentially is. It's like with the added stipulation that it makes sure that you can't it makes sure that you can't that you can actually survive a hit and do it again, essentially. And then of course the Kanto one will be after that, which is really good. But that comes from her weapon. So yeah, you know, why should you need to, you know, use 2 hits to kill something when you can just do it in 1 hit, you know? So Yeah, honestly, I think Valentine. I keep
And
thinking
the Golden
Valentine. I think
Seer.
Tea Time Lysithea is better
My
than this unit.
purpose is to bring ruin.
The one thing that's sad about this artwork is
I am the
full
Golden Seer.
spoilers right here. Turn away for a second. You can tell that it's Sather in this. Much better than you can in her normal attire. That's kind of the sad part. Poor Sather.
My
So,
Disguise a lack of substance.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of disappointing. This one really could be interesting, but also could just be super niche. Well, I'm really interested to see what better brains. I'm interested to see what better brains have to say about these units.
This is my path.
Because from what I can see, I think that Corrin and Robin killed it, and the other two, one is niche, and I think this being niche, and then the other one maybe not being as great as we think. So that was my reaction. I know it was super long. There's every time CYL comes out, they come with all new skills, and then they all have their own perfs, and it just takes a long time. So I'm sorry it took so long. If I had to give a choice as to which ones are the best,
Just give up.
I'd have to say it goes Corrin, Robin, Soren, and then Gulavag. I'll be interested to see if Flare can be inheritable. Because if it does, I think there are some much better units that can take it that will be absolutely stacked with it. So it'll be interesting. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction, and I will see you guys in the next one. Neptorka out. See you guys.